Ladies and gentlemen, most people don't fail because they lack desire. They fail because they lack discipline. Everyone wants something, the body, the business, the freedom, the peace. But wanting doesn't build anything. Desire without discipline is just daydreaming. It's the spark with no fire, the map with no journey. Discipline is what takes your dreams out of your head and drags them into the world. It's what turns hope into habits and intentions into identity. And the truth, the gap between who you are and who you could be, it's not talent, it's not luck, it's not even time. It's discipline. That quiet force, often overlooked, often uncomfortable, but always undefeated. If you're tired of starting over, if you're done watching your potential gather dust, then keep listening. Because the life you want isn't waiting. It's being built choice by choice in the silence where discipline lives. Everyone wants something. Some seek wealth. Others long for peace, respect, or even revenge. But wanting, that's the easy part. Desire is automatic. It takes no effort, just a breath and a flicker of thought. Even the most unmotivated, discouraged, or resentful individuals still want. That urge, that spark of desire, it's natural. But a spark isn't a fire. It won't heat a home, build a future, protect loved ones, craft a legacy, or pull you back from the edge when doubt creeps in. Desire alone doesn't get you there. Because between where you are and where you want to be, there's a gap. And that gap is bridged by discipline. Discipline is the dividing line between potential and performance, between good intentions and a great life. It's not glamorous, it's not always inspiring, but it's consistent, it's real. It's the currency every high achiever invests in. And the one thing most people avoid, people don't fail for lack of dreams, they fail from lack of follow through. They romanticize the outcome, but resist the process. They're drawn to the idea of winning, but repelled by the effort it demands. When the hard part arrives, they retreat into comfort, bury themselves in distractions, and try to convince themselves and others that the timing just wasn't right. But often the truth is simpler. They weren't disciplined. Because discipline doesn't ask about your feelings, the weather, or your mood. It doesn't wait for motivation. It doesn't need praise or recognition. It just shows up again and again and again. It's the 5 a.m. alarm when no one's watching, the cold shower, the blank page you fill in silence, the workout you push through sore, the call you make even though you're afraid, the decision to say no to short-term comfort for long-term fulfillment. Discipline is the backbone behind every success, the silent engine behind every meaningful change. It's the difference between those who start and those who finish. And it always begins in the mind long before it becomes routine. Discipline is a mindset, a personal standard. It's refusing to break promises you've made to yourself. It's the moment you look in the mirror and declare, I'm done sabotaging my future. I won't keep waging war against my own potential. Because that's what a lack of discipline really is. Self-sabotage dressed up as self-care. It tells you, take it easy, you deserve it, just skip today, start fresh on Monday. But you're tired, and discipline says something else entirely. You committed, now follow through. Your word must carry more weight than your feelings. Comfort is often just a lie disguised as compassion. That's the voice you must strengthen. That's the path you must choose, not just once, not for a short while, but every single day. And that path, it's narrow. Few walk this path, and fewer stay on it. Because it doesn't flatter you, it doesn't chase your attention or beg for loyalty. It simply exists, quietly daring you to be strong enough to earn its rewards. And make no mistake, its rewards are limitless. Because once you learn to master discipline, everything opens up. Want a stronger body? Discipline. Want sharper focus? Financial stability, mental clarity, a calmer spirit. It all begins here. Discipline is the door. It's the tool you refine until your life is driven by intention, not impulse. It's the muscle you strengthen until your days are led by purpose, not pressure. It's the language of leaders, of builders and icons are those few who rise while others scroll, who act while others dream, who persist while others explain away their failure. And once it becomes part of you, it transforms you. Your presence shifts. You carry yourself differently. You speak less, but your words land deeper. You stop needing to explain your journey to those who don't operate on your frequency, because discipline lifts you. It clears out what no longer serves you. It strips away excuses, distractions, harmful habits, and draining people. And in their place, it gives you something powerful: control. Control over your thinking, your behavior, your reactions, and your time. And in a world constantly trying to control you, that is freedom. But don't mistake discipline for perfection. It's not about being rigid, harsh, or robotic. It's about alignment. It's about integrity. It's about being able to count on yourself. Because the truth is, most people don't lack confidence, they lack evidence. Evidence that they follow through, that they keep their word, that they don't crumble when things get tough. Discipline gives you that evidence. It's the compound interest of character. Every workout completed, every book read, every early morning, every dollar saved, every excuse resisted, it all builds, it multiplies. Until one day, you don't just look different, you are different. You carry a quiet strength. You move with precision. You no longer need motivation because you've replaced it with identity. You don't say, I want to be disciplined. You say, I am disciplined. It's who you are. It's in your core, in your daily choices, in the way you walk into a room, in the way you say no to distractions, in the way you face temptation and stay focused on what you're building. You're no longer ruled by fleeting feelings. You've become a servant to your purpose. And that is real power. Because true power isn't about controlling others. It's about mastering yourself. It's the ability to manage your thoughts when anxiety hits, to redirect your energy when exhaustion sets in, to act with clarity when your mind tries to justify quitting. Most people let emotions decide for them, but you've chosen a different route. You've chosen to live with intention, not by accident. And intention demands discipline. That means defining your values, holding your standards, and drawing a clear line between who you've been and who you refuse to be going forward. Drifting is easy. Getting lost in distractions, dopamine, delays, that's the norm. Devices feed you lies and call it comfort. But easy never changed anything. Discipline did. Discipline built every structure that still stands, wrote every book that still inspires, shaped every meaningful relationship, body, business, and legacy worth remembering. It doesn't matter where you begin, it matters what you do. It doesn't matter how talented you are if you can't stay consistent. It doesn't matter how smart you are if you never execute. Talent without discipline is wasted brilliance. Potential without discipline is a slow and quiet death sentence. Because every day you delay, every time you say tomorrow, the gap widens between the life you desire and the one you're living. Discipline is the only thing that builds the bridge across that gap. And every act of discipline is a brick. Every meal you prepare, every rep you complete, every page you journal, every focused hour without distraction, every choice to grow instead of gossip, to choose purpose over pleasure, direction over distraction, brick by brick. It's not flashy, it's not glamorous, but it's unstoppable. Because motivation might spark the start, but only discipline keeps you going when things get repetitive, when they get painful, when it's lonely, when it's hard. And it will get hard. There will be days you don't want it. Days when the comfort of bed outweighs the pull of your dream. Days when failure whispers that it's easier not to try. Your mind will crave ease. And those days, those are the defining ones. What you do when it's tough shapes who you become when it's easy. Those are the days that write your identity. They cast the votes for your future. They decide whether you're merely interested in success or committed to it. The people who inspire you, the ones who've built, led, and left impact, they weren't more talented. They weren't born with something you lack. They were more disciplined. They didn't always feel like showing up, but they showed up anyway. That's the difference. Discipline isn't talent. It's not genetic. It's a choice, a decision to take control, to rise when you'd rather retreat, to lead yourself when no one else is coming. It's the highest form of self-respect to say, I will not betray my future for my current feelings. That mindset, that conviction is what builds greatness. And real greatness It's never accidental. It's born from radical ownership and uncompromising standards. From becoming the type of person whose behavior aligns with their vision. That's what discipline creates. It turns dreams into defaults. It turns one day into day one. It transforms intentions into outcomes and outcomes into legacy. Because when discipline compounds long enough, it drowns out every excuse. Eventually starts speaking on your behalf. People won't need to ask what you're building. They'll see it, they'll feel it, they'll know, because your life becomes proof. Proof of work, proof of dedication, proof of a soul that refused to bend beneath weakness. You become the person others look to, not because you talked about discipline, but because you lived it. Now lean in, because we're going deeper. At its core, discipline is not just about completing tasks. It's about becoming someone unmovable, someone unshakable in their alignment, a person whose presence is so anchored in purpose, even chaos cannot rattle them. Discipline isn't about being robotic. It's about being masterful. It's about living in such deep agreement with your own values that the thought of violating them feels like a betrayal of self. And discipline is self-respect in action, not punishment, protection. It guards your vision from distractions. It shields your goals from your own weaknesses. It protects your future from the damage of present indulgences. And the more you live by it, the more magnetic you become. Because the world notices, it feels it. When someone is fully in control of their words, their body, their energy, when they consistently say no to what's convenient so they can say yes to what truly matters, they begin to radiate a quiet kind of authority, the kind that doesn't need to shout, because it's authentic. People trust disciplined individuals. They hire them, follow them, collaborate with them, because discipline builds a reputation that talent alone can't reach. You become reliable in the best sense. Reliable in your standards, reliable in your actions, reliable in your presence. People know you'll show up, solve problems, raise the bar just by being in the room. That's real leadership. That's what the world responds to. Not good intentions, but consistent habits. And the powerful thing about discipline is that it compounds even when no one's paying attention. Every choice matters. Every ignored impulse, every workout you completed, every deadline you met, every time you paused instead of reacting, every dollar saved, every early morning you showed up, it all accumulates quietly, steadily. And one day, seemingly all at once, it becomes inevitable. You no longer wonder if you'll succeed. You know it because the evidence is overwhelming. The habits are too solid, the character too developed, the identity too rooted. You're no longer trying to become someone capable of success. You are that person. Not because the path was smooth, but because you stopped choosing what was easy. You chose discipline. You chose power. And now the outcomes are chasing you. Because disciplined people don't beg, they attract. They attract opportunity, they attract trust, they attract responsibility because they can handle it. They attract abundance, not because they demand it, but because they become someone who can sustain it. That's the deeper truth. Discipline doesn't just help you get what you want. It makes you worthy of it. The universe is just. Not always fast, not always fair, but just. And it will always place the greatest rewards in the hands most prepared to hold them. So become those hands. Become the vessel. Become the bridge between desire and result. And always remember, you don't need to feel like it. You don't need a perfect moment or some external signal. You only need to decide, I will be disciplined. I will be excellent. I will be someone who finishes, then move every day, no matter what. That's how mountains are moved. That's how legacies are built. That's how ordinary people become unstoppable. So keep building, because the moment this truth clicks, everything shifts. You stop fighting reality. You stop bargaining with laziness. You stop listening to doubt, and you begin to act like the person you're always meant to be. Not someone who waits for change, but someone who creates it. That's what discipline does. It transforms you from passive to powerful, from observer to architect, from hoping to owning. You become dangerous, not to others, but to every limitation that once held you back. Dangerous to comfort, dangerous to excuses, dangerous to the version of you that used to win in secret, when no one was looking. Because now you're the one watching. You're no longer letting that version lead. You've taken the wheel. You've shut out the noise. You've stepped into full ownership. And what you find there isn't comfort, it's peace. Not ease, not perfection, but peace. The kind that comes from alignment, from living so in sync with your values, your vision, your mission, that you rest well, not because the world is flawless, but because you're finally showing up fully, fiercely, unapologetically. Discipline gives you peace because you're no longer at war with yourself. That internal conflict, the tug of war between your intentions and your actions, ends the moment you surrender to discipline. And in that surrender, you find power. You find rhythm. You stop starting over. You stop sabotaging your momentum every time things get quiet. You stop quitting just before the breakthrough. You no longer chase chaos, drama, or distraction, those old patterns that used to rob you of months, even years of your potential. Eventually you realize you don't need more time, you need more discipline, because 5 focused years can change everything. 5 years of building without needing applause. 5 years of studying while others party. 5 years of investing instead of consuming. 5 years of speaking less and executing more. 5 years of honoring your word even when no one's watching. Imagine what that would do to you. It would make you unrecognizable. But it doesn't start with some massive leap. It starts with a single decision. One moment where you say, no more drifting. No more delay. No more playing small to avoid the responsibility of your own greatness. Because undisciplined living is just fear in disguise. Fear of your own power. Fear of what happens if you really show up. Fear of what happens if you actually win. And your excuses no longer protect you. But you're ready now. You're ready to release the identity that clings to comfort. Ready to become someone so grounded and disciplined that your past can't reach you. So purpose-driven that old temptations fade into shadows. So anchored in alignment that even when the world around you crumbles, you remain unshaken. That's what happens when discipline becomes your default. You don't just reach goals, you outgrow limits. You don't just build success, you embody it. You don't just perform, you live with excellence in every room, every interaction, every breath. Your presence becomes intentional, your results become inevitable. Not because you're lucky, but because you're disciplined. That discipline shows in everything you touch because you're not just creating momentum, you're building mastery. And mastery lasts, mastery compounds. Mastery becomes part of who you are. And once it's who you are, no one can take it from you. That's the real reward. If you're still here, still leaning in, then you're one of the rare ones. Because most people don't make it this far. Most turn back when it gets quiet, when the applause fades, when the grind demands more than just dreams, when it demands sacrifice, solitude, sweat. But not you, because deep inside, you know you were made to carry more. You were born to lead. You weren't created to be a servant of circumstance. You were made to shape it, not to follow fate, but to forge it. And that kind of transformation comes with a price. That price is discipline, daily, hourly, breath, especially when no one believes in you, when no one understands what you're building, when even your closest people question your silence, your absence, your standards. You keep building. You keep choosing. You keep planting seeds while others chase comfort and shade. Because disciplined people don't build for clout. They build for forever. Their work echoes. Their energy lingers. Their name becomes more than a label. It becomes a legacy. It becomes a legacy. And legacy isn't something you leave behind when you die. It's something you live every day. It's the ripple of your discipline, the wake. Your standards echo beyond you. They influence people you may never meet, shift lives you'll never see. All because you had the courage to live at a level most only talk about. So if it feels lonely, good. That's how you know you're not average. If it feels hard, perfect. That's how you know you're walking the right path. If you feel resistance, excellent. That means your old self is fighting for survival. Let it die. Let the version of you who made excuses, who avoided discomfort, who chased pleasure and blamed circumstances, let that version burn. Because what rises from those ashes is not a trend. It's not a phase. It's a force of discipline so deep the world bends around it. And don't be surprised when people start asking, how did you do it? Don't be surprised when they call you lucky when you know the truth. It wasn't luck. It was every decision made in silence. Every early morning you rose before the world did. Every craving you ignored. Every emotion you mastered. Every time you kept your word when quitting would have been easier. That is your proof. Discipline works. It may be slow. It may be brutal. It may be thankless, but it never fails. And now you don't just believe in discipline, you are discipline. You breathe it, you wear it in your posture and your boundaries and your energy and your results. Because when you live like this long enough, it stops being something you do, it becomes who you are. You don't have discipline, you've become disciplined. And from that moment forward, nothing is ever the same again. You built the bridge between desire and result, not just crossed it, built it with your hands, with your choices, with your silence, with your standard. And now that bridge carries others too. Because when you walk in discipline, you lead without speaking. You inspire without trying. You win without needing to be seen. You become undeniable. So now let's walk into the final stretch together. Because this isn't about hype anymore. This is about honor. The honor of showing up when no one claps. The honor of holding the line when no one sees. The honor of choosing the high road, not because it's easy, but because it's right. That's what discipline gives you. A life you can respect, a name you can be proud of, a future built not on fantasy, but on foundation. And when the storms come, and they will come, your foundation will not shake because you didn't build your life on emotion, you built it on execution. While others ran on feelings, you ran on focus. While others chased dopamine, you chased destiny. And now you carry something rare, a stillness, a clarity, a presence. You've become the person others call when everything falls apart, not because you're flashy, but because you're faithful. Because people trust those who don't need to be motivated to show up. You've earned that trust, but with weight, the weight of consistency, the weight of self-governance, the weight of a life lived in full alignment. That's sacred. That's what legacy is built on. And it all started the moment you realized discipline is not the enemy. It is not the burden. It is not what's keeping you from freedom. It is the freedom. Freedom from regret, freedom from dependence, freedom from the prison of potential, the kind that was never realized because comfort was too loud. That's what discipline offers. But here's the truth. You will not always feel like it. You will not always be applauded for it. Yet if you stay the course, if you choose discipline over drama, purpose over pleasure, direction over distraction, then one day you will wake up to a life so strong, so pure, so earned that no one will be able to deny it. Not even you. You won't need to convince yourself anymore. Your life will speak for you. And it will say, this was a person who didn't just dream. This was a person who delivered. They didn't just want it, they worked for it. They didn't just build success, they became the bridge between desire and results. And now the world is better because of it. And so are you, because you didn't wait for permission. You didn't wait for perfect timing or ideal conditions. You decided. And when you decided, you became dangerous, not reckless, but powerful, grounded, clear. When you became dangerous, you became disciplined. And when you became disciplined, nothing could stop you. So now you know, now you remember. Discipline isn't just a tool, it's your truth, it's your identity. It will carry you through storms, through failure, through doubt, temptation, fatigue, and pressure. Discipline will carry you across the bridge, from who you were to who you were born to be. And once you've crossed that bridge, you never go back. Because once you live like this, you never want anything less again. So here's the truth you can't ignore. Desire gets you dreaming, but only discipline gets you there. Not about how badly you want it, it's about how consistently you work for it. Discipline is what turns potential into proof. It's the quiet force behind every visible victory, the invisible work behind every legacy you admire. And if you're still relying on motivation, if you're still waiting for the perfect time, understand this, nothing changes until you do. Discipline is the bridge between your current self and your future greatness. So if you're ready to stop wishing and start becoming, this is your moment. Because once discipline becomes who you are, everything else becomes inevitable. Press play, and let's build the life your desire keeps whispering about.